Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome to another video. I know it's been a while. I had almost basically given up on YouTube. I was only taking videos of some nice place I went to, then not even that. Well, I'm here, I'm right back because I realized that, yeah, you shouldn't wait for everything to be perfect, but if I have some spare time, why not get back to making videos? And in this video, I will be talking about my trip to the Isle of Wight. I came back last Sunday to Glasgow, where I live, and yeah, I played the tournament there. It was a great experience. I would very happily go again next year if it happens again next year, which hopefully it will. I really enjoyed my time there, and yeah, here I'm going to talk a bit more about my trip. I was firstly very fortunate because even though I arrived on time, I had no issues with the trains. I got all the money back because one of the trains was delayed by over 30 minutes. So I went there for free, which is always good. And yeah, delay repay is great. That's one of the reasons I prefer the trains over the flights. Flights can be late for however long they are, and the airlines will find a way not to pay you. So yeah, that was definitely great. Now, um, there I stayed in a hotel, the Dorset Hotel. I stayed on my own this time. I could have shared to bring the cost down a bit, but I don't mind staying on my own. I've done that many times. I've also shared many times as well. And it was close to the venue. The breakfast was very good, and the Wi Fi was very good, where other chess players stayed somewhere else, where I heard that the Wi Fi was terrible. So, yeah, I would happy to stay there again next time, next year. And yeah, I think it's better to go with the train than to go with the flight for the reasons I mentioned before. Yeah, I went from Glasgow to Euston. From Euston, I changed to Waterloo, and from Waterloo, I went to Havant. We just had to take from to Havant with the train, and then from Havant with the bus to Portsmouth Harbour. We just had to get a bus because there were some rail work, industrial work they were doing at the station in Portsmouth, so we had to get the bus instead, but no problems at all. Okay, waited a bit, but everything was fine. And I was happy to meet my friends randomly on the train. That made the trip faster. The way back was also fine, except that I had to go back really late, but what to do? At least I didn't pay an extra night's accommodation. I was back to my work in Glasgow on Monday. Yeah, all good. So now about the games. Also, I managed to benefit from getting early entry, so I got a 10% discount, and also I got a 50% discount on the ferry, which was very nice as well. And what else? Yeah, the blitz tournaments. I mean, I played 3 blitz tournaments for less than £27. Well, to play the British blitz, which is okay, 9 rounds instead of 7, but still, to play that, it's £40 per tournament. So 40 for 9 games or £27 for 21 games. You can decide for yourself. The blitz tournaments had a slightly different time control than normal. They were 5 plus 3, not 3 plus 2. I don't mind that. In fact, I enjoyed it a bit more. I didn't do that well in the first 2 blitz tournaments. Okay, I know that I lost a lot of rating, but part of the reason for that is because many people have blitz ratings that are a lot lower than their standard ratings, so that's normal, and I'm okay with it. If I didn't want to play, I shouldn't have played. And maybe next time I won't play, so I can go and do a bit of sightseeing. I mean, it is a bit boring and depressing that I went to such a nice place like the Isle of Wight and I didn't get to have any pictures or videos or walk at the beach, do any sightseeing, but the schedule was jam-packed. Like, if it wasn't a double round, there was a single round in the morning and then a blitz tournament in the evening. And one of the days, the Saturday, it was double round plus a blitz tournament, which was absolutely mental. Strangely enough, that was the only time I did well in the blitz tournament, so I only did well in the last one out of the 3. The first 2 I got 3.5 out of 7, but I was by far in the top half, so I lost a lot of rating, unfortunately. And I only played 2 higher rated players in the blitz, which is quite sad, I must say. It shows you how hard it is. It shows you how hard it is. I would like to mention an incident in the last blitz tournament where I got my best result, which was 5 out of 7. and the only one I won rating. In fact, it was the only time in England where I made a profit in rating. I gained rating in a fast time control because in two and two in the past and one more. So one, two, three, four, five previous attempts I had lost rating, and this one was my sixth time playing Rapid or Blitz in England, and I won rating in the sixth time. Shows you how hard it is, because many English juniors they are like 2,000 in standard, which is good, but they're 1,700 in Blitz or even less. So it shows you how hard it is, even with the increase, and it's not as hard in Scotland, I must say. Anyway, I got 5 out of 7. I would really like to say thank you very much to David Lightfoot, because he's a man of very hard work. He put lots and lots of time and effort into making this tournament possible. I know it happened last year too, but last year it was certainly smaller and I didn't play myself. And he showed me that he's someone who really cares about all the players, that even showed an interest for coming there. And he was also open to feedback for improving. He he made a great effort. He sent us very detailed emails with everything about the industrial work, about the ferry. He gave us all the discounts that he could on the ferry. He answered questions, he answered emails, not like some other organizer. I won't mention who it was, that I wrote them an email recently asking two very simple questions and they didn't even bother to answer. And he wanted to make sure everyone that goes there has a great experience, and yeah, he made a brilliant tournament. And I would be very happy, like I said, to go back again. I would give it like 8 or 9 out of 10. Of course, there is always room for improvement. There was one unfortunate incident where I got an underrated player in the last round, and that was because they got a win by default in round 8, but of course not his fault. Okay, if I can suggest one thing for improvement, would be that the under 2000, it's an odd number of games, 5, 7 or 9, but not 6, because when it's 6, someone can get 4 black to white or 4 white to black. So yeah, that would be my suggestion. Okay, now I'll also say an incident that happened in the Blitz, in the third Blitz, the Saturday night one. Well, I must mention that the first two, part of the reason I didn't do well also was because I had very long classical games before, so I was obviously a lot more tired than someone who had a relatively quicker game. That played a role too. You need to be fresh to play Blitz. Now, in one of them, the second one, there was some incident where they did make an announcement that it's going to be 4 minutes and then we start. Maybe they said few minutes until we start, instead of few instead of 4. Possibly, I don't know, but I went to the toilet, and by the time I came back, I saw that I had started my clock, and I played with 40 seconds less, and basically more than 40 seconds less, and you need every second in Blitz. I ended up losing, and that was a critical moment in the tournament. Anyway, I did complain, and he listened to me, he apologized, which is great. Other organizers would insist and find excuses, but he listened, and he took my feedback. That's fine. I understand that the reason they did that was because they were behind schedule. That's fine. Just I said, don't announce 4 minutes if it's going to start in 2 minutes, because it's Blitz. We need every second, and I care about Blitz. I care about every game of chess I play in. Anyway, the incident I would like to mention was in round 6 of the third Blitz tournament, where what happened was I hit my finger a few seconds before the start of the round, and definitely it was a shock for me psychologically. I saw my finger bleeding, and it didn't stop bleeding even until the end of the last game. So I played round 6 and round 7 with my finger bleeding. I had to play many of the moves with my left hand, which is obviously not my strong hand. And I didn't think about resigning or offering a draw or withdrawing or anything like that. I stayed there to fight because I had an obligation to fight until the end. I would like to thank David Lightfoot and Jonathan Payne, who was also part of the organizing team and a player as well in the Blitz tournament, at least the last one. And he also beat me, and he beat me deservingly. Good on him. credit to him. What I wanted to say was thank you to Jonathan because he went to fetch the first aid kit, and thank you to David because he had a first aid kit. Many other tournaments they would not even have one. Shows that he's a world-class organizer. Like I said there, he's one of the best organizers I have ever met in my entire life, and I've been playing now over the board for 20 years, since 2005 actually. It's my 20-year anniversary, since March 2005. So they did a great job. He had the first aid kit. Jonathan went to fetch it while he could have just relaxed before the critical last round. He went to bring it. Very kind of him. I really appreciate it. And you can check out his website. He produces tea. I didn't get to taste the drink because the last day it was hectic. I had to run and get the ferry to catch the ferry after my last game. I had to leave my stuff at the reception in my hotel. That was another good thing about the hotel. I could leave the stuff at the reception, which was very helpful. Anyway, that was very kind of them. I'll never forget it, like I said. And yeah, I really enjoyed my stay in the Isle of Wight. I managed to win the last two games, which was great in the blitz, and I finished with 5 out of 7. I think that's a very big achievement, not because of how strong my opponents overall were, with no offense to anyone, but I've achieved bigger wins than that in blitz, and I've had many good results in blitz in my career. But what I'm trying to say is that I played both games with my right hand bleeding, and even that night I couldn't sleep well. And yeah, I played with my left hand. I played wounded. I played with a cluster around my finger. So achieving 2 out of 2 and getting 5 out of 7 and finishing shared 8th, equal 9th out of overall after tie breaks out of 78 players who turned up, even more that didn't turn up. That's a big achievement in front of titled players, in front of, I don't remember off the top of my head, but at least one IM, FM, CM, Woman FM, etc. So in front of titled players I finished, and yeah, I was very proud of myself for that achievement. I was also relatively happy to get 9 points increase in the standard rating, so I went now from 1966 to 1975, which was great. Could have been more, but could have been less as well. I had some interesting games. Maybe I'll make another video and show them. Now, what happened was in round 1, I made a huge blunder. I was playing a player who did very well. He was also a very nice chap from Norway. He was sharing in the same hotel like mine. And I made a tactical blunder. What happened was I had got a rook and 2 pawns for 2 minor pieces for a bishop and a knight. And apparently the engine liked what I did and I was doing well. And I also had more time, so things were going my way, at least for a draw. And I made a tactical error, and that led me to lose the game, lose a piece and lose the game. That player eventually was a win away in the last round for making an IM norm. In the end, they lost, and they didn't, but very strong player, definitely. They gained rating, and they were close to achieving an IM norm, so very strong player from Norway, and a very nice chap as well. Then, round 2, I was playing on the last board, and I beat someone around 1750, who was from Poland. My opponent in round 1 was from Norway, so quite an international tournament. Few foreign players, many foreign players actually, and a few that I faced. And what happened in round 2 was I just got a free piece at the end. My opponent blundered. Actually, I had gone to the toilet, and by the time I came back, I had seen that I got a free piece, and I just captured it, and that was it. My opponent resigned, a knight up, and then that was it. Moving to round 3, this was a much-needed win. Because when you play someone lower rated, you really need to win. It's all about getting the result. Doesn't matter if you play well or not, just get the result, then move on to playing someone stronger. That's how it works in these opens. You play someone weaker, then you lose. You play someone stronger, you lose. You play someone weaker, you beat them, you play someone stronger. That's what happened in round 3. I played a woman grandmaster who is originally from Poland, now represents England. And she's won, I think last year, I think it was or shared first, but lost it on tiebreaks last year. But I think she's won in the past the English Women's Championship. Very strong player. She's been over 2300, and now she didn't have the best tournament, so she dropped under 2200. But anyway, a very strong player, and yeah, this was an interesting game. I kind of surprised them a bit in the opening, and it's good to surprise from time to time. Not that I achieved anything special, but at least I got an equal position. I didn't lose from the opening, and Yeah, we reached an endgame where they had 4 pawns and I had three. They did outplay me a bit in the endgame to achieve that because it was meant to be equal throughout. So they have 4 pawns, I have three on the same side, and we've got the bishop of the same color now. Because it was of the same color, it gave them winning chances. If it was opposite color bishops, my defense would be so much easier. So what happened was they did have a win, which was like a study-like win. I mean, the engine can say plus 30 or plus 50 or whatever, but it was a study-like win. And they didn't find it, fortunately for me. We were both relatively much very low on time. And I managed to defend in the end an instructive endgame. Maybe I'll show it next time. Round four. Round four, I was playing a Greek player who was a very nice chap as well. We had lunch after the game, even though he beat me. And that's part of the process. You make new friends regardless of the result. Okay, he played well, he beat me. I did have some chances, but things had gone downhill from the opening. I did fight back, which is certainly good. Maybe I was a bit lucky, you can say, because even though I made a huge mistake in the opening, it was not simple at all. And he had to be precise. I missed my chance to get back in the game, and then he beat me very deservingly, so good to him. Round five, I got a young, promising junior who I had beaten once in the past, and he became a CM as well. So that speaks for itself that he managed to get up to 2200 in times like this where many underrated players exist. And okay, I had a good position. I played a risk-free solid opening, probably the most risk-free opening there is. However, what happened was I made some mistakes and he beat me deservingly. I got very annoyed because this was meant to be a risk-free position where I was playing for two results and then the third result came. So even though I was a pawn up, his bishops were very powerful and he got a passed pawn, which I shouldn't have ever allowed. And he beat me deservingly. 1.5 out of 5. Things were not going well by that point. Then it was the critical moment of the tournament because even though I was on -2, I got a stronger player, a higher rated player with black that was almost 100 points higher than me. And he was from Wales. Like I said, an international tournament. You play people from many countries. So far we've had Wales, Poland, Greece, Norway, etc. And yeah, what happened in this game was double-edged game, up and down. Things didn't go that well for me in the opening, but I fought my way back. I was worse, maybe -2. Then I was winning at some point. I won a pawn, but then he managed to get it back. He did have a better continuation, which he didn't play. And then I got myself a winning position. I managed to reach an endgame with 2 pawns up, but it was not easy at all. Even at the end, it was knight and 2 versus knight. And one was on the A file, one was on the H file. Eventually, I managed to convert. I managed to sacrifice my knight just to distract his, and then my A pawn was running. Luckily, he resigned. So I managed to win. I was one of the last to finish. With the Woman Grandmaster, I was the last to finish. And moving on to round 6. Round 6 was... this was round 6. Round 7, I played a very good friend of mine who we didn't share this time, but he shared with another good friend of mine. Basically, I introduced the two, so I helped them cut down the costs, which is always important. And yeah, I've shared with him in the past. He's a teammate of mine in the 4NCL. At least he was when I used to play the 4NCL, not anymore. I'm not going to play it again. That's a video for another topic. That's a topic for another video. But... yeah, he's a good friend of mine. We shared also internationally abroad last month when I went to Prague in January. And yeah, he's a great friend. We were having lunch and dinner between the games and also with my other friend. My other friend did very well. He got 4.5 out of 6 in the Open. He lost first place in the last round. So anyway, I had to play with a friend, someone I know pretty well, someone I've spoken to about chess quite extensively. And we made a draw, not a fixed draw. I have never, ever participated in any prearranged draw in my life. I've made quick draws, yes, but prearranged, never, and I'm very proud of that. And yeah, as a result of that, yeah, I gained a little bit of rating. He wasn't having a good tournament, unfortunately for him. But okay, I won a little bit of points from there, and yeah, I was in the pluses now. So The key moment was round 6, by far round 6, because it took me in the pluses and it was the key moment of the tournament for me. Now, moving on to round 8. Oh, sorry. This game with my friend was in round 8. Round 7, I played a very strong junior who had actually drawn with Michael Adams 2 years ago in Cambridge in round 1, and he was even better at the final position. So, very strong player. I mean, if you draw with a former world number 4, the world championship, even if it's disputed, the FIDE world championship challenger, world number 4 speaks for itself. I mean, he's drawn with Michael Adams, that speaks for itself. And I managed to draw with this player. I wasn't worse, actually. It was equal throughout. I played a relatively risk-free line because things could have gone either way. Eventually, we agreed a draw. What happened in this game was that he surprised me in the opening, and then I surprised back. I can do that sometimes. And not a bad result either. So I was on plus 15, and now we are after round 8. I was quite annoyed though, because I got a very bad pairing in round 9, which I would simply never get if there wasn't a default. But one of the players defaulted, unfortunately, and accidents happen. Anything involving humans, mistakes are going to happen. And because of that, I had to play an underrated player who was having a pretty good tournament. And yeah, I would just never play them if there wasn't for the default, because even if they had won that game with the black pieces, they would be due white. I would be playing someone else. If they had a draw, I would be playing someone else. And if the player who defaulted turned up and won, I would also be getting someone else. So in any scenario, I was going to be getting someone else. And it was a very bad pairing. And after that, I went to play the blitz tournament where I had the instant with my finger bleeding. But yeah, I thought about it seriously, just not to turn up. And that would be the easiest thing ever. Just not turn up, protect my rating. I would have made plus 15, an extra 6 points. And maybe I would even get home faster because, yeah, it was quite a run to catch the train. I managed in the end, but I could have been there faster. Right, but there is this thing that you should not do to someone else what you don't want them to do to yourself. Imagine if I was playing someone 200 or more points above me and they didn't turn up. How would I feel in the last round? Very annoyed, right? If they want to protect their rating and they have lots to lose and not much to win, right? So I thought the boy has played to play 9 games, not 7, not 8. So I should turn up, just do the honorable thing. I'm not so much looking forward to it. I know he's underrated and all that, but I need to turn up just for my honor as a chess player. And that's exactly what I did. I turned up. I got a very good position from the opening, apparently. I did surprise them again. And I didn't manage to capitalize, let's say, on the good position. So what happened was I got a completely lost position, and he was brave enough to decline my draw offer. Hats off to him. And he was also brave enough to walk into a discovered check, even though he was absolutely fine. He was plus 6, more than plus 6 at some point. He was plus 50 at some point, made in 24, made in 14. I don't even remember, doesn't matter. But he was completely winning. And I just proved that you should not resign. And I played on. I set up my last trap to him. And for my good fortune, he fell into it. And because of that, I managed to save a draw. I had already mentally accepted I'm going to lose this game. So I gladly saved the draw. I claimed the draw by threefold repetition, but there was anyway no way for him to escape. So I survived with a draw. That meant I finished on plus 9. If I lost, I would be on minus 1. If I won, I would be on plus 19, which would have been even better. If I didn't turn up, I would be on plus 15. Anyway, my solution for the future is very simple. If you don't turn up, you lose rating, because 90% of the times the excuse is not serious. I mean, I fully understand if there is a car accident or something like that. But most of the times the excuses are not serious, and people pay to play 9 games, not 8. And if you don't turn up, you should lose rating as well. It's as simple as that. It will solve the problem. And the majority of the times, it's always in the last round or the penultimate round, because there is no consequences. You just don't turn up and then you withdraw, or it's the last round. And many times it's the higher rated player that doesn't turn up to avoid playing someone underrated because they have lots to lose and little to win. That's my suggestion. I've said it many times, but nobody cares. That's fine. I'll keep playing chess regardless. And also sometimes it happens in the first round as well because they don't bother to do a confirmation of participants. Just have them confirm in person that they are there and then get paired. Simple as that. I've won many times on default in my life. I have defaulted only once myself where the phone didn't work and I didn't listen to the alarm clock. It was a double round. I turned up before the rounds finished. I apologized to my opponent and to the organizers, and I played the last game. That was only once in 20 years of playing. Anyway, these are my thoughts. Let me know yours. You can find all the games on leeches. Another thing I must say, brilliant job by the guys because all the games were on leeches for the Masters, and I'm pretty sure for the other sections too, which is incredible. And also, all the games were on leeches, even from the 3 blitz tournaments, and having like hundreds of boards in a blitz tournament with the live boards and capturing them, very helpful because one reason I might not like blitz and rapid over the board is that the games don't get recorded. Well, now they did, and that's brilliant because I can go over all my games from the blitz, not only the opening as far as I remember, but all the games from start to finish, see if I had gone here I was winning, if I had gone there I was losing, that was equal, etc. So brilliant job again. Thank you very much to David Lightfoot and to Jonathan Payne as well for bringing me the first aid kit. I really appreciate that. David Lightfoot is a very good organizer, and I would be very happy to go again to the Isle of Wight. He showed that he appreciated every single player who even showed an interest for coming to the tournament, never mind coming there. He wanted to give us all the best experience possible. So hats off to him, and I would be very happy to go again. Right, that's all for now. I might be back to making videos. I cannot promise anything. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe as well. Helps me. And I might be back to making videos. We will see because I do still have issues with my laptop. I cannot record the sound, and I don't want to pay like 3 figures or 4 figures to buy a new laptop. It's pointless. And there are other things I should focus on. I do have a full-time job. I do have a number of side hustles as well. If you are interested in some of my side hustles, you can let me know. I mean, I do give chess lessons if that would interest you. Of course, I can't give chess lessons to players that are stronger than me, right? So, but I do give chess lessons to amateurs and beginners. You can let me know. I still have some availability in my calendar. Other things I do for side hustles are, the main one is matched betting and with Outplayed. I'm very happy with them so far. It's been going great. I've made more than £700, 750 now pounds profit in since April when I started. It's working, and I didn't even put much time or effort in it either. So yeah, that's about my side hustles. If that interests you, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know any feedback in the comments, questions, anything. Just let me know, and see you in the next one. Goodbye.